This is Paraguay, 0% tax on foreign income, legally a resident in only 3 months, and non-CRS discrete banking. This video is inspired by a thread that I wrote on X. But at the end of it, in just one video, you're gonna know everything you need to know about Paraguay. Let's start with history. It was one of the first independent countries in South America with a rich past, including the Guarani culture, Spanish colonization, and the independence declared in 1811. It's a pretty safe country, actually. Right now, it has the lowest crimes in Latin America. I would say as safe probably as Uruguay. They're very, very safe compared to neighbors like Brazil, or if you go to Venezuela, you go to Colombia, you don't hear the stories of online dating, get scopolamine. You don't hear that in Paraguay. You hear it in Colombia, you hear about pickpocketing in Brazil, but Uruguay, Paraguay are very safe. So Paraguay has political stability that also contributes. Since the 1990s, it's very stable politically. And expats living there report again and again, our clients, when they go there, it's like, wow, Paraguay, it's super safe. It's developed, money is there, and when there's money, there's also a lot of investment in security. So you can just walk at night, pretty chill. Women as well, walking alone past 11 p.m., no issues. Just stay in the city center, stay in areas that are fine, that's it. However, this is Asunción. Let me pause here for a second. In the border with Brazil, where there's Foz do Iguaçu, actually it's a triple border because there's Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina. But Ciudad del Este, that's like crazy. It's just, oh my God, black market. Anything you can expect from the gangster movies happens in Ciudad del Este. So be careful when you go to Ciudad del Este. Pay attention there, but you've been warned. Asunción, it's Paraguay. Ciudad del Este, it's also Paraguay. Looks like two completely different countries. But for example, go to San Bernardino. Look at the threads here in Twitter. We're gonna put it in the link down below, but the sunset is just spectacular. It's a beautiful sunset on a pier. The next part, tax heaven. Paraguay has a 10% flat income tax rate for money locally made. And talk to people with a local business in Paraguay and ask them how much they're paying in taxes. But of course, don't do it with the camera. Do it on a dinner, informally. They're gonna be like,
do you think I'm paying taxes?
How much I'm paying in taxes? Paraguayans know all the tricks, the hacks. They do the accounting tricks, the magic. You go to an accountant in Paraguay and you ask, 1 + 1, how much is it? And the accountant replies back to you, how much do you want it to be? That's the type of accounting that they do in Paraguay. But in their law, it says that 10% and 0% on foreign sourced income. For example, coming from your US LLC, that's the most typical setup. So it means that all the money earned outside of Paraguay, because it's a territorial tax system, it's 0%. And that includes yields from real estate you have abroad, capital gains from stocks, from crypto that you earn abroad, invoices, dividends, salaries that you get from US companies, whether you are working for a company or you have your own company and you create your own LLC, and it's just money to that LLC, which has Wise, Mercury, whatever, Stripe, payment processor. You receive it there in a bank, you send it to your personal accounts, which do not have to be in a Paraguayan bank. This question, I've heard it so many times, I'm gonna repeat it here once more in this video. You don't need a Paraguayan bank account. Your tax residency does not depend on your bank account. If you receive money in a bank from Germany, let's say, or Revolut with an IBAN in Lithuania, you will not have to pay taxes in Lithuania. The bank is not what sets the tax residency. So you can have the tax residency in Paraguay, receive the money in Revolut in Lithuania, and still pay 0% taxes on that money in your personal account. Make sense? So you can send it as a dividend, just a regular transfer. Send it from your LLC account, let's say Mercury or Chase or Bank of America, whatever bank you have, and then that money is instantaneously tax-free. Actually, the LLC is a pass-through entity for many people that incorporate those. So even if the money stays in the LLC, that's going to be taxed at the personal level. So that's why it's so important. For example, if you had an LLC while you are a Spanish tax resident and you pay 47% in your tax bracket in Spain or in Denmark or Netherlands, Switzerland, doesn't matter. The money that you would make in that LLC, let's say $1 million, would still be liable to taxes at the personal rate that you're being taxed, even if the money stays in the LLC. And if you say, what if I keep the money there and I just spend it with a corporate card? Well, that's called tax evasion. If you have just a shell company in the US and use that card and your tax residency is in Spain, Spain can claim that money. And if you don't report it to Spain, Nothing will happen until they catch you. Then you will pay a fine much higher than all the money that you owe in taxes. So that's why I say, set up these things properly. If you live in a country for 10 months a year, let's say the Netherlands, because you have family, we have many clients from the Netherlands. I say, bro, don't go and create a US LLC and Paraguay residency. It's not gonna work. But if you do it correctly, wealth tax, inheritance tax, capital gain tax can be 0%. Paraguay is an under the radar tax heaven for entrepreneurs and investors. And I say this because the Bahamas, BVI, all of these are NIBIs. They're all St. Lucia, St. Kitts. They're in the radar. They have the magnifying glass, the governments, and like, hey, you don't send money there because that's a tax heaven. That's exactly what I was saying in the beginning of the video. If you want to move directly from Spain to Paraguay or to a country that is in the list of tax havens, you have to be careful because they can claim taxes for the next 5 years on the money you made. So be careful with that. Just be careful because you sometimes need a bridge country. Okay, and bridge country can be Cyprus, for example. You go from Spain to Cyprus, become a tax resident in Cyprus for 1 year, and then from Cyprus you move to Paraguay. Or, number two, something that is recommended, is spend enough time the first year that you are moving out of your high tax country, because that's going to create stronger ties to the new one. And in case you need to prove something to your previous tax hell government, you'll say, look, I've been living in Paraguay for more than 120 days, for more than 183 days. And I have my home here, and here's my lease, here's my bank account, here's my tax returns as well that I'm presenting every month, el IVA. That helps when you need to then defend yourself in court. But if you say, oh yeah, I went from Spain, I stopped paying taxes, last year I paid 200,000 in taxes, but this year I'm going to Paraguay. You spent Paraguay 3 days that first year. Hey Spain, ciao. It's not gonna work like that. It's gonna be difficult to defend in case they ask you for proof. If you want to see exactly your case, if it's going to be a problem that you move from your country to Paraguay, how many days you should stay there, what would be the ties that our lawyers have experienced, that when these checkboxes are done, you will have a strong proof against your high tax country, government that you are living, book a consultation with us because it's something that can cost you a lot of money in fines and headaches. Because when people try to be smarter than these countries that have high control on the taxes, UK, Australia, Canada, the EU, they are just set up for failure. So it's something that you want to do the opposite. You want to be set up for success. Number 3, let's move on. Digital connectivity. Then we're going to talk about the residency program, what you need to do to get the residency. But first, it's a place that you're going to have good Wi-Fi there. Actually, 4G networks are available across major cities, and I've tried it myself. You can have a bunch of hotspots that you can use your mobile phone for, and also the Wi-Fi is really fast. Even in San Bernardino or some places a bit far from Asunción, it works really well. But in the city, the new apartments, the new condos, I've seen like 360 megabytes per second download, easy. So not a problem. It's one of the first Latin American countries to embrace satellite internet and strong focus on building digital infrastructure. For people that rely on the internet, you make money with this device, with your laptop, or you need to connect with meetings online, whatever you're doing, trading. You can't afford your internet not working for 20 minutes if you are actively trading, whatever you're doing. Yep, Paraguay will work for you. Number 4, fastest residency program. You can actually get a residency in just 3 days in person. That's all you need. 3 days, 1 visit. Then they changed it, right? And I'm not gonna say in this video what's the process, because then this video is not going to be useful in 2 or 3 months whenever the Paraguay government decides to change things. Because first it was directly permanent residency, then in 2022 they changed it, it was temporary, but not a lot of people knew about Paraguay. Then there was some scandal of people doing fake IDs and it got blocked. There was a backlog of 3 months. It's crazy what happened in this country. So it can be 2 visits, can be 3 visits, it depends. Okay, it depends on the backlog as well. It depends if a future scandal happens or whatever. But what I would say is one of the fastest residencies. What's for sure much easier is than the neighbors, Brazil, Colombia, you name it. Uruguay, much faster. You know, it might require a couple of visits, but hey, if that's gonna be your new country, you can just, instead of a couple of visits, just make a long trip and that's it. In a matter of 4 months, 3 months, 4 months could be that all the process is finished, you have your residency, and then your cedula, which is your ID, and then you can get your tax ID as well. So And the second good part is that you can get citizenship in 5 years. So it's 2 of temporary, 3 of permanent, then you can apply for citizenship the very next day. You will need to create ties to the country, so it's not just put the residency there like it's in Portugal, spend 7 days a year, every year for 5 years and you're done. You're gonna have Portuguese citizenship, voila. No, you would need, in this case, ties to the country, time spent in the ground, so it's not as easy. It's really for people, Paraguayan citizenship, people that want to actually be there and make it a second home. Cost of living, you shouldn't worry because one, you're a first-class citizen, you're watching this channel, so you have clearly money. But if you're wondering, hey, what a $400 meal gets me, you probably don't find this type of restaurants to start with. Like, it's difficult to spend money in Paraguay. Like, you can get really, really great quality already for $25. Like, that's a really great meal. $100 per person is gonna be, you know, it's not Miami, it's not Dubai, it's not Singapore, it's not the places you are used to, it's not Monaco, it's not Europe, it's Paraguay. With $8,000 a month, you are Elon Musk rich. You are Jeff Bezos there, okay? So take into account these things. Know that it's, for example, the monthly costs are 60% lower than the US as a reference. So take Miami and divide, take a 60% of that. You can get a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom in Asunción for $1,000 if it's a long-term lease. If you're doing Airbnb, it's gonna be around $1,300, $1,500. Really nice buildings with rooftop, with sunsets, with everything, gym, even sauna you can find there. And you'll have concierge, you'll have reception 24 hours to take packages and letters, whatever you receive there. Food, if you get delivery as well, which works really well. You have Uber as well in Paraguay. So high quality of life at a fraction of the cost. That's the reason why a lot of Germans actually are moving to Paraguay, because they find sensational quality of life for almost no money. Natural beauty, number 6. One of the largest underground water reserves of the world, the Guarani Aquifer. There's a lot of beauty in there. You can find waterfalls. Actually, well, as I said, the triple border, it's Paraguay, Brazil, and Argentina. You have the famous Foz de Iguazu, the waterfalls of Iguazu, and it's one of the wonders of the world, actually. So, I mean, there's the pyramids of Egypt, and there's a few other beautiful, the big wall of China, and there's natural beauties like Foz de Iguazu. So don't take it lightly. It's a really beautiful spot. And then, of course, you have smaller waterfalls and drops of water and lakes, things like that, closer to Asunción. Remember that Paraguay is such a big country, and it still surprises me today that it's 95% green. Only 5% of Paraguay is actually developed. There's Encarnación, there's Asunción, there's Ciudad del Este, and that's pretty much it. That's developed Paraguay. You know, the rest is little towns like Paraguarí, San Bernardino, different places, but it's 95% green. When you take the plane, when you are landing or departing and you're going to another country, you go from Paraguay to Panama and you cross from Asunción all the way up, you know, it's green, 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 and it's flat. It's flat as hell. Like, they don't have mountains. They say, yeah, las montañas de Paraguay. Bro, you don't have mountains in Paraguay. It's little hills. It's 300 meters, 400 meters. It's flat as hell. There's no mountains like in Europe. It's not the Chilean Andes, okay? It's so flat, especially for people who are interested in building the second home, let's say off-grid base. You have a lot of water, so that's survival. That means something happens, you need your own resources, you need to grow your vegetables, you need to feed your cattle, whatever. You have water. You drill a hole and you have water. So that's really important. Number 7, business opportunities, investment opportunities. They invest a lot in agriculture, livestock, manufacturing sectors, and there's a lot of fintech and tech startup as well going on in Paraguay. They are developing these big towers. The banks are getting more friendly with the apps, so every time there's more and more. A lot of money is being deployed into real estate. Like, it's ridiculous how fast it's growing. You should go there and take a picture, come 1 year later, and you see 5 new towers being developed. It's just like money's flowing there, especially from, as I say, Europe. Germany, it's super big on Paraguay. Another important thing, Paraguayan workforce, it's cost more affordable because the cost of living there is lower. I think the average salary is $350 US, $350 US a month, okay, in the local currency, equivalent in Guaranis. Quality of life. Paraguay offers a laid-back, family-oriented lifestyle, perfect for those seeking balance. You can follow all of these in the thread I wrote on Twitter. So, as I said, quality of life, it's fantastic. If you want more of a retiree type of lifestyle, go to San Bernardino, go to all of these little towns outside of Asunción. If you want more posting and shopping malls and co-workings and meetings and this and that, go to where the action happens, okay? So you can choose between the two. However, don't expect the speed or the urgency in people's mindsets that you have in Dubai, Miami, any other place in the world, Singapore, that they go fast. Okay, things there is mañana. Oh, this got delayed. Well, what can we do? Okay, it is what it is. Number 9, financial secrecy. That's one of the most interesting parts about Paraguay. It's still non-CRS. It's surprising that the country does not think about joining the CRS to date, because the OECD, to avoid money laundering, to create this transparency, to really pull the curtain and say, hey, show me the finances of people from your country. It's being enforced. They are pushing. They are wanting to make all the countries in the world compliant. And Paraguay is still, no CRS here. No automatic exchange of information with other countries. So it means that if you open a Paraguayan bank account, which you will only be able to open once you are a resident, the non-resident accounts are like trash, like literally you can just put $800, that's it. So you really need to be a resident. But once you can have one, they have strong privacy laws for banking and financial matters. It's incredible. And the access to open a personal or corporate bank account once a resident, done. I don't recommend the corporate account, only do the personal, because companies in Paraguay are not that useful, especially because, as I said, you're going to make money once you are outside of Paraguay and boom, then send it 0% tax when you're in the country. And federal asset protection for investors as well. They have some interesting structures. Usually the best is to have a trust outside of Paraguay and then own the assets in Paraguay through a trust outside. But financial system, I think it's really interesting. And one of the good things about banking in Paraguay is that you can have an Amex Gold, an Amex Platinum, pretty much right away when you open the account. You just need to present a bit of movement in your tax declarations every month, and that's pretty much it. You can then rack it, put it on the table, boom, Amex Platinum, Amex Gold, and use it into your day-to-day. They give you points to use in Paraguayan shops. For example, I know a friend that got a $200 t-shirt just with points after a few months of spending with the Amex Platinum. The downside of that is that the Amex Platinum, the Amex Gold will not give you the points like in the US. You will not be able to use it for travel. You will not be able to use it for hotels. Say you go abroad for a vacation. So that's the downside. It's so easy to get, but it gives you nothing outside of Paraguay. And another bad thing is that you cannot do the global transfer. So if you thought about, oh, I'm just going to get the Paraguayan one, which is so easy, and then get the US one with the global transfer. There's this program inside Amex. However, they're very smart and they have only 20 countries they allow the global transfer. You can do it from Spanish Amex, from one from the UK, one from Canada. You can to the US, but not from Paraguay. The same with Armenia, also non-CRS. You cannot do that from Armenia. You cannot do that from a Georgian. So something to take into account. But Paraguayan banks, pretty good. I would not leave a lot of money there, to be honest, but for a bit of money or money that you don't want other countries to know about, that could be worth a shot. And that potential that I see there, growing real estate market, as I said, especially in Asunción, it's just booming. You're going to get ridiculous prices. By the way, make sure a local is negotiating the prices, because if you do it yourself, you'll get scammed. You'll overpay so easily. The moment they see that you're not from Paraguay and they can tell, even I'm from Spain, y hablo español, ellos pueden saber que no soy de Paraguay. Obviamente, they can know I'm not from Paraguay, obviously. So a local will always have more leverage when it comes to negotiating. High returns on agricultural investments as well. Farmland prices are ridiculously cheap. Like you can get an hectare for $6,500. Can you believe that? 1 hectare, 10,000 square meters of land for that amount, and not that far from the city. So that's the good part. But Paraguay, it's a longer term move. It's like if you invested a bit out of Tbilisi in Georgia 10 years ago, you could get incredible returns, or you invest in Tulum. Imagine Tulum 10 years ago. You would have made so much money today, so much money, because Tulum now it's booming in Mexico. So it's more of a bet that you place. But again, why not placing a bet with whatever, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, half a million, whatever. It's nothing, it's pennies for you. Just put money there in different areas of the country and you could hit jackpot. Especially if then they create more airports, because it's a country which shows one airport and it's much bigger, than just that. Of course, it has a small airport, but international, imagine they created a second one, that would be big, that would be huge. And the land around that second airport, international airport, would be amazing, amazing, amazing. So, challenges, because as I said, not everything is as good as it sounds. Spanish is a must. I mean, you can move around with English, but Spanish is just gonna make your life so much easier. Lack of direct international flights to major global hubs, another thing. Usually you need to go to Guarulhos, you need to go to Sao Paulo, Brazil, or you need to go to Panama to then catch a flight that can be global. But it's not like Turkey, it's not like Panama, it's not like Madrid or Barcelona. So take that into consideration. And the benefits, however, I think it outweighs the drawbacks for those willing to be patient. And if you have a bit of flexibility, and let's say you can just travel to a couple airports, or you can have a home there in Sao Paulo or Rio de Janeiro, or you can have a home in Panama, or you have another base there, an apartment. So you can then connect much more easily. And also, private jets could be another way to move around from Asunción to Florianópolis, Brazil, beautiful island in Santa Catarina. It's just sensational, and you can go there with a flight, commercial, sometimes, depending on the time of the year. There's a company that goes there, and if not private jets, you can go in a matter of 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, you are there. So it's fantastic, fantastically connected, that's for sure. You have Argentina, you have Uruguay, you have Chile, like very close. Use that in your favor. Paraguay versus neighbors, okay? The last 2 points of this video, Paraguay versus neighbors. Paraguay is less bureaucratic than Brazil, cheaper than Argentina, more stable than Bolivia, and faster residency than Uruguay. I think it's truly an overlooked gem, and it's the first place in Latin America I would set residency in. I would go for Paraguay, and then, if you consider as well, Mexico, Latin America, it would be Mexico, these two. But Paraguay in South America, for me, it's a no-brainer. Like, it's the one that I would get anytime. We helped clients move successfully to Paraguay. We also share that in the thread here. And it's something that if you want help with, you know that we are knowledgeable. You want our team with the partners we have boots on the ground to help you with Paraguay. And as well, help you then with the international part, how you're going to combine the different pieces that you have, because you might have homes in different countries, you might be interested in banking. How is it going to be when you send transfers from Panama to Paraguayan bank and from a Paraguayan bank to, say, Europe? If you want to know how to combine all these pieces together, I think that's our edge here compared to just a local lawyer in Paraguay that will do the job, getting you the residency for sure. However, when you ask anything outside of the country, you'll be like, I don't know, I have no experience. That's where First Class Citizen excel. And we create these 0% tax setups, and we can then use the trusts in other jurisdictions to protect your assets wherever you're buying in Paraguay instead of buying in your name. So all of this, it's what we can then make the puzzle work. Just click the link down below and book a consultation with us. So if you are interested in paying 0% taxes, you can watch the other videos about Paraguay. We have as well a newsletter that I share tips, tricks about residencies, things that I learned, things that our team puts on the ground, learns all the time. We share it there. So you're going to be the first one to know about it. You can enter the Telegram channel where I can say things without worrying about the algorithm, and I can just speak freely, and I shoot bubbles and videos, and I record audios. I can just talk freely. I love that. Same like with email. But the best of all, of course, it's coming in person to one of the meetups. I prefer that you've watched this video, put me in the comments below what I missed talking about in Paraguay. If you like this longer format content with the threads expanded, the countries analyzed in depth, I can make more. What countries would you like to see next? And start creating your setup. 0% taxes, a new base, future citizenship, even Paraguay, a great place. I'll see you in the next video. Watch it right here.